Today I want to look at a couple of creationist arguments that I think are actually rather self-refuting. If true, they would refute evolution. Problem is, if true, they also completely and utterly debunk creationism. And I don't think many creationists think that far. I mean, it's obvious, but they don't actually put these things to the test on their own projections. The first one is the famous, that if the human population is projected backwards, it could not possibly have, humans could not have survived more than 6,000 years to reach our current population number. The idea is the Earth was 4 billion years old, and there'd be one human for, there'd be like 1,000 humans for every square inch or something like that, ignoring, of course, population problems. And there's two huge problems with this. The first is that population mechanics don't work that way, and by that same projection, bacteria would overrun the Earth within hours, days, weeks, months, depending on which type of bacteria they were allowed to run rampant. So obviously the Earth can't be more than a couple of months at best, debunking their argument. If we try to project their same arguments to other species and animals on this planet. Of course, the other problem with that is that leaves, 200 people to build the pyramids, 300 people to flee, Egypt, whatever. The numbers just aren't possible. I've had creationists try to argue that, they had some sort of, really super fast breeding, that they just bred like bunnies because they were trying to repopulate this planet, ignoring the fact that there wouldn't be supplies, food, or anything. They come up with these weird arguments, but by their own arguments, there wouldn't be enough humans to do anything. We don't see this huge gap, or for a couple hundred years there's no life on the planet except around Israel. Another argument that I've often heard, is also kind of debunking, self-refuting, self-debunking, whatever, is when they talk about information in the genome. And they'll try to say stuff like, all mutations are dangerous. They delete stuff, they harmful to the organism. We don't add anything. And they say that, one person said like 99.999% harmful. Well, that's kind of funny, because according to, by their logic, we couldn't very well be more than a couple of years old. Because of, the human race and the planet could be more than a couple hundred years old, because all those deletions and whatnot would have long wiped us out. If that many mutations, we know we have a couple hundred mutations from each person, from our parents. So if these mutations are only harmful, then how are we going to survive 6,000 years? Forget about debunking the Earth being, 4.5 billion years old and 3 or so billion years of life. The Earth wouldn't survive 6,000 years with this rate of mutations and damage. We'd be wiped out pretty quickly. Another similar example they give is E. coli example, where within like 5 or 6 generations the bacteria died off, due to too many harmful mutations, ignoring that this was an artificially sped up method where they used radiation and whatnot to cause mutations faster than natural selection or anything could change. It's the same sort of thing that causes cancer. in humans, you know, due to all the mutations and damage done to the cells and other stuff. You know, it wasn't meant to prove, that it wasn't meant to show what would happen. Of course, the point here again is that they say in 4 or 5 generations they died off. Well, how many generations has it been since life formed on this planet? If it only takes 4 or 5 generations for mutations to wipe out a species, then how exactly have we survived this long? And they're just all these little things that, you try to use to prove that they've debunked evolution. And then you realize, that they debunked creationism because they're correct that the Earth couldn't be 6,000 years, This is just something that it kind of frustrated me, and somebody else made a video discussing the whole part about mutations are harmful, and I thought I'd just point out the whole problem with their arguments, how that even if they're correct, it debunks themselves. Got any ideas or thoughts on this? Let me know.